Ta-da! Welcome back. So today I'm going to stick the bottom end in there carefully. I'm just slacken my safety strap. I think what we'll do, we'll just find the bolts we need. That's that one. There's also a bobbin, I think, that goes in there somewhere. That one's in there. I think they're the only two we need at the moment. So the reason I'm putting the motor in is because I've just cleaned it, and it's just a lot easier to work on taking the top end off if it's fixed in the frame. So that's why we're doing that. So I'm not going to tighten anything up, I just want it to hang in the frame for now because it just makes working on it a lot easier. I've got to take these out and repaint those. So there we go. Now I can get this cover off. I need to take that little window out. There's a bearing in there that's we need to get out. That's a bit of a pig, that is. There we go. Once the top end's off, then I'll vapor blast all of these bits separately. So yeah, I'm quite happy with that. Right, going to do a little bit of work on the engine tonight. Oh yeah, it was Father's Day, and that's why I got some beer. It's nice beer as well, brewed just down the road. Proper drop of Suffolk beer. So anyway, yeah, it's the best thing to do when you're working on your bike. Tonight, I'm going to pull this top end off. Now, why have I got oven gloves in the shed? It's our mum's fancy ones, and she'll kill me if she thinks they're up there. Well, she knows they're up there. Well, the reason they're up here is because I couldn't get the bend out of this. Just a little side note. So this is my rear fender mudguard in the UK, and when I picked the bike, or all the bits for the bike up, this had a massive crack right through here. But where it had been stored for many years, it had been stored with this being pushed in, so I could not get this straight. I looked on eBay, there's nothing on eBay. I think there's a KR1 one on there at the moment, but that's too short, it's about that short. So, I've welded this up, but the problem I had is I couldn't get this straight. I couldn't get it the same as this side. As you can see now, it is straight. And the way I did it, and the reason the oven gloves are up here, is because I cooked this in the oven, in the kitchen, don't tell the wife, and I just kept increasing the temperature very slowly, and I got it up to about 150 degrees. And I left it in there to get the heat to soak right through it at 150 degrees, and what it did is it sort of relaxed all the stress out of it. So then I nicked the oven gloves, I brought it up the shed, and I just put a wedge in there to keep it where I wanted it to while it cooled down. And once I've ground this back and filed it and finished it, that will be perfectly good enough. You know, it's a pretty straight now. This was like kinked right out, and I couldn't get the bloody thing straight, but I think I'm pretty much there. So if you need to straighten your plastics out, polypropylene, stick it in the oven. Don't let your missus know. So when you undo these bolts, just make sure you do them sort of opposite each other and across the two heads. That will help alleviate any stress that's in the head. They are numbered as well. When you torque it back up, you do them by number, and it's basically the same pattern. And what it does, if you just done everything up on this side, it'll pull the head down too much, and then it'll cock that side up. Put stress on the head that you don't need or you don't want. And yeah, so it's just when you've got multiple bolts like this, just don't do them in rows, just go randomly around. And that will just help relieve the stress. This head is one piece as well, so it has to be kept as flat as possible, so you don't want it to bend. Those are all loose now, so I can just back them all right off. So this was a track bike where the frame and the engine were. So I'm hoping that the engine's been sort of slightly modified. I know what to look for inside if it has. That'll be a bonus if it has been modified. I'm not too bothered if it hasn't been. But I think its saving grace was it was stored in a, like I say, in a chicken shed or chicken coop for 15 years. I think the guy said it sat in there, which is sacrilege really. But there you go. It's not in there anymore. But I think what saved it, when I picked the lock on the tank, got the tank open, it was absolutely rust free. It was absolutely not a drop of rust inside it. And I think it's because they were running it on premix. As you can see, the oil pump has been blanked off, so it's got no oil lines. I was running it on premix, and they were using probably a very good quality oil, pre-mixed in the fuel. And the good thing about that is it leaves a very thin coat of oil over everything. If you, I've got another fuel tank, the fuel tank that comes with all the fairing and the other parts that I managed to get, but that is absolutely rusty as a horseshoe. It's absolutely full of rust, and it's because it never had premix fuel, where you mix the two-stroke oil in with a petrol. It never had premix in the fuel tank, so it just condensated and rusted the tank really badly. So I'm hoping, you know, once I pull this apart, we shouldn't really see any signs of corrosion. But it's also to make sure the bottom end's alright. If it needs rebuilding, it needs rebuilding, but I don't really see it does. It did run alright, I started it up, it did sound fine. But I just want to be sure that the top end's okay, and we don't find any horror stories. Which a lot of people don't realise. If you go to a pub and they have a nice glass like this Adnams, if you pay more than £4 for a pint, then you get a glass for free. And that's the law. So if you pay more than £4 for a pint, you can definitely keep the glass. And I think every glass in our cabinet is a free glass. It's got sand in it. So what I've done is I've used the bracket that stabilises the radiator, and I've just wound that against this bit of angle on, because I think they've used some sealant on the head gasket. So I'm just carefully jacking it up, just try and break the seal. Don't go too mad. So yeah, we can see there's a gap there now. You could just thrash it with a hammer, but then the problem is you start snapping lugs and things off. And it's just not the best way of doing stuff. Not saying my ways are the best way, but I might just give somebody an idea to do things a bit differently. So that sometimes there's always a temptation to get a screwdriver in there and try and prise it open, but believe me, you'll just do more damage. Try and get all the power valves out at the same time. There we go. This is yep. So we've got a busted power valve. That is a bit like we pulled it apart. So there we go. That is the heads off. There are your pistons. Alright. What we'll do now is carefully with my modified, I've ground that down especially so you can get it in there. So this engine is pretty simple. It's just like two 125 engines bolted together. Obviously they share the same crank, but their crankcases are sealed between each side, otherwise they wouldn't run. So I could have done all this on the bench, but it's not very easy to hold everything on the bench. So just it's just as easy for me to bolt the engine in the frame. Water coming out of the water jacket, good sign. I'd say they're fairly standard. We normally cut these bits off. So we cut these down so the gas flows around them better. So what we need to look at is the pores. We'll have a little measure up as well and make sure they're haven't got too much slack in them. So we'll clean all these up. It's quite hard to see in there actually, isn't it? And where I was telling you about the power valves, you can see how they work. So if you look in there, this is the exhaust port that goes via the power valve. So there's another one on the other side, and that's the standard exhaust port there. So when the power valve opens, it makes your exhaust port that from there right out to this wide, so almost half the diameter, or half the circumference. So yeah, we'll have a good look at those. We'll inspect them for cracks because they are known for cracking. They normally crack across the exhaust, so we'll have a good look at them. But they all feel alright. These have got a special coating on them. For people that don't know, this is called Nickel, which it means that nickel silicon carbide. That's what it is. So they'll coat the bore in nickel as a carrier, but within that nickel has silicon carbide, which is incredibly hard, and the piston then runs against this silicon carbide, which creates a really hard surface for the piston to rub against. But also everything expands at the same rate, so you can have much tighter tolerances on it. So yeah, there you go, that looks alright. So I'll We'll probably stick a new set of pistons in it. Well, to be fair, they don't look too bad at all. So I've got the timing cover off so we can give the things a little spin round. And like I say, because it was run on premix, everything is covered in oil. Yeah, that piston's got a few little grooves in it. Nothing too bad. But what I might do is just have a closer look. It looks like it's across the back of that piston feels a bit rough. Got some grooves up and down. So that would have been on this one, on the back. So yeah, you can probably see what's caused it. You see that? So in here, what's caused them grooves there, look, just where my finger is, just lost a bit of plating. So the silicon Nicosil plating has chipped off. So this will have to go to Langcourts down in Western Supermare, which I sent the other barrels to. They've done a wonderful job, really, really good company. So I'll buy a pair of pistons, and yeah, you can see there's a bit missing there as well. And that's why you pull engines apart, they haven't been run forever. So they'll go down to Langcourts now. I'll buy a pair of pistons, and they come in grades as well, so you can buy ones that are very slightly oversized, not massively, but very slightly bigger. And what Langcourts will do is they'll strip this out, and then they'll replate and then machine and hone it to your piston sizes. So when it all comes back, the pistons will be matched with the bore. So that's where these have got to go. So to send them down now, I'll have to pull out all the studs, all the dowels, everything. Take every bolt out of it. So yeah, and they will bead blast these anyway, so I'm probably not going to bother sticking them through the vapor blaster. We'll see when they come back. Right, there you go. That's why you pull the engine apart if it hasn't run forever, and you know it's a bit of an unknown. So that's probably going to be a few £100 to get that right. We need a couple of power valves, but bottom end, right, that's what they call the big end, bit down here, that all feels good. The piston top ends are fine, so yeah, I think we're all right. So the bottom end seems good. The pistons are, we have to replace those, but con rods seem alright. So we'll just rebuild the top end, and happy days. So thanks for watching. Thanks to, I suppose this is sponsored by, I can't remember where I got this glass from. I think it might have been a pub in Nayland. So thanks to that pub. Cheers.